and helps others find what we're doing here on the Jeff Cameron Show on a daily basis. Thanks so much again for watching. Appreciate you doing that and being here. Mike's getting a little loose here. Mike's getting a little loose, Tommy.
Well, it is almost summertime. Everybody is.
Yeah, soon enough. Yeah, you talk about it. I mean, you guys out there, if you've got kids, they're checked out. They're done with school. That's it. They see May, and they're like, peace. Done with this nonsense. I have to get them to buckle up.
I spent some time with my nephews playing video games online because that's how you connect these days.
Yeah.
And they're starting to ask for the Friday nights because they know.
They want to start,
It's time. Like, hey, can we – because usually a weeknight that's not Friday.
Right.
Hey, can we try Friday night? Maybe we can play for like 2 hours?
Yeah, get after. I like that tradition of yours.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one. The draft is tomorrow. The NFL draft is tomorrow. Really looking forward to making my way over. Tom will be there. Hopefully you guys will. Really, it's just anybody that wants to be. This is not an official station event. This is not an official Jeff Cameron Show event. This is a laid-back, hey, man, I like football. You like football. I like to know how the pie comes together. I like to know how everything's made. So it is that you watch the draft and you educate yourself and you get excited about a player or not, and you have that discussion. That's a good pick. That's a bad pick. And then you commit that baby to memory. And it's all so that 5 and 7 years now, you can come back and say, I told you, Tom, he's garbage. Look at this bum. Told you on draft night. And then other times you say, I had a sneaky suspicion he'd be a Pro Bowler. I know he was a 3-year backup at Tulane, but those 6 games we saw him, you could tell he was figuring it out. So I like it.
And that conversation is met with cold, frosty beverages and also delicious food over at Bumpa's. I always talk about the Uncle Sal, but how about the Brussels sprouts as a side? Those
fantastic.
Are crazy.
Oh,
good.
Yeah. Good use of vinegar.
Yes.
Oh, man. Love it.
Sweet and crunchy.
Can't wait.
Yes, sir.
Definitely going to have it. Yeah, that's tomorrow's draft. We'll be there. Probably heading over there around, 6:30? I think so. Get you an ice cold.
Yeah. 6:37. I think it starts at 8, doesn't it?
No, 7:30, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Well,
I got to get up on the times here.
Listen, what else are you going to be doing? Dilly-dallying? Might as well get over there a little bit early.
Be on the back 9. I don't know.
Yeah, but you got to get there a little bit early. You got to chill out and have some fun. Speaking of football, the Bucs picked up Devin White's 5th-year option. There was never going to be a doubt about that. That has been a resounding plus of a selection in the first round. And we were on that one. I liked that pick. I was arguing for that pick. Middle linebackers matter. And that was good. Hopefully, you know how nervous Jermaine Johnson must be right now. Now, it's all relative because you're only as nervous as circumstance allows. So if your circumstance is, I may not get drafted, you're probably a lot more nervous, or you stand to, let's say, potentially lose out on hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, depending on where you are in the draft. You might be a little bit more nervous. If the difference between you getting drafted is that you may get drafted 4th, you may get drafted 14th, you'd be nervous because that too could cost you millions of dollars. But now we're just talking about how many more millions are you going to have or not have. And it's a little less nerve-wracking when you know you're going in the first round, which I think is important. And it's going to be a good day for him. And it's a good kid. Can't believe he was just here. And just like that, bam, first round.
Saw a video today, and it's a video that's older, but Warrick Dunn's Twitter account had shared it, and it talks about his draft day experience and how the scouts were telling him that if he was just 5'11" and not 5'7" or 5'8", he might have gone top 3 or maybe number 1 overall given his resume. And he said, I was just hoping to be in the top 5, well, at least the top 6. And then Tampa had 6. They traded back to 8. Then they traded back to 12. And then I got the call. But it could be a similar, but hopefully not too similar experience for Jermaine Johnson. Because Warrick Dunn was thinking top 5 or top 10. Ended up being 12. And he had a borderline Hall of Fame career afterwards.
May someday be a Hall of Famer. Time does a lot for us all. Gives you perspective, certainly. Also changes oftentimes the way you think about things. You can be gung-ho on one thing in the moment. Many years later, having that opportunity to reflect, a lot of things happen between that time and this time that make you say, I don't think that anymore. I don't believe that anymore. I think that this is true instead. Warrick Dunn's career is one of those careers that when it ended, you and I said, I think, a couple times over the last several years, if yards are yards, like very much analytics, advanced metrics, all of these other ways of evaluating a career, evaluating a player, productivity in baseball and in football and in basketball, what a player is or is not, what he truly is or is not. We've had better ways, better methodologies of figuring out. And for a guy like Warrick Dunn, I think that will aid his case more than most. So if we were stuck using conventional means, you would just look at his rushing yards as a running back per season. You might look at receptions because it's not as if people didn't know Roger Craig could catch the ball out of the backfield and was a prolific weapon for San Francisco for all those years. There have been dual threats in that way out of the backfield in the past, but really Warrick Dunn, and obviously Marshall Faulk to a greater extent, ushered in an era of football that saw running backs routinely evaluated and their valuation shift based on if they could do both. They couldn't just be battering rams between the tackles. They couldn't just be guys that you could hand the ball to 30 times a game and hope to get 120 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. That the more versatility you brought to the table, the better off you could be utilized within an offense. And that was adapted during Warrick Dunn's time, in part, again, because of Warrick, but also because, again, of crazy good athletes like Marshall Faulk. After a while, you just start saying, well, how many yards from scrimmage did Warrick Dunn produce? How many touchdowns? How many? Yeah. In that regard, where does he sit, Tom? Very high on the list, if I'm not mistaken.
20th most in NFL history.
Thank you. So there it is. 20th most. If you're responsible for the 20th most offensive yards in football in the history of the game, I got to believe you have a case for the Hall of Fame. You know how many people have played football? A lot. Too many to count. There's only 20 that are in the top 20. So, my man.
So here's the thing. There's only 4 players in front of him. He's at 20th alone that are not in the Hall of Fame. And they're all probably going to go to the Hall of Fame, but one is a questionable. Frank Gore, number 4 in history.
I think he'll go in the Hall of Fame. He'll make the Hall of Fame.
Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah, easily. Adrian Peterson. Absolutely.
Piece of garbage.
But he will be.
Yes.
He'll have a bust.
Mm-hmm.
He busted up his kid, which is not cool. He'll have a bust in Canton.
Mm-hmm.
Tiki Barber, 15th overall in history. That would be the barrier. Because was Tiki really a Hall of Famer?
No.
But he's responsible for the 15th most yards from scrimmage in NFL history.
I'm probably going to have to acquiesce to Tiki, I guess.
Right. Yes. Basically, that's the backroom deal.
Like, all right.
I want to let Warrick in.
I'll let you let Tiki in if you're going to let my boy Warrick in.
Plus, you could put the Barbers next to each other and have that, look at that, they're twins moment thing for the NFL in Canton. That's great. Just make sure that Warrick comes with them.
I will tell you something, though. I understand the case against Warrick Dunn being a Hall of Famer, the same as I understand the case against Tiki Barber being a Hall of Famer. But I can argue for them both to be Hall of Famers. They are truly borderline guys. I mean, I do think we've gotten a little too loosey-goosey when it comes to the halls of fame in all of the sports. I'm very much a guy that when we get into debates about anything, whether it's Florida State football lore or the NFL's Hall of Fame, Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame, which is always a contested and argumentative layer, I would tell you that I'm always a guy that says, okay, let's first define our terms. What do you have to be to get into the Hall of Fame? Can somebody tell me? Because it's like the Heisman Trophy. I scoff at the Heisman Trophy unless we have a candidate that could actually win it. Then I'm like, well, all right, let's win the Heisman because of the boon that it is economically for your university, for your athletic department, and down the line for your football program in general. It's a huge boost. It catapults you into another realm. So it's good to win them. But if we're just talking big picture about who's the best college football player, good luck with that, man. There's no way to define that. Best player on the best team, best player at the most high-profile position on the best team. Is it an interior guard at Furman? I mean, good luck. You can't know it, and they don't do a good job of defining their terms. It's this nebulous best player. Well, best player in the ultimate team game? Good luck. Good luck. Jerry Rice was an all-time great receiver. Everybody will agree upon that. Is he the greatest receiver of all time? You can't get everybody to agree on that. You will debate it, but we won't debate that he was great. You also wouldn't debate that if the rest of that team hadn't been loaded, he wouldn't have had as much single coverage as he got time and again. Right? It helped that they had Hall of Fame quarterbacks, all-pro linemen, all-pro running backs, another all-pro receiver. That worked. An all-pro tight end. It worked out well.
A cutting-edge scheme that nobody had seen before.
So it's hard to do it in football. And it always bothers me. That always bothers me. But anyhow, back to this. So define your terms is what I'm saying. Just define your terms. Because, I mean, again, if you just say willy-nilly, if we're sitting here and I tell you, hey, tomorrow we've got a guest from whatever sport, in this case, we'll use football. We've got a guest coming in studio. We're going to talk for an hour with a man responsible for the 20 most yards from scrimmage in the history of the NFL. You would assume that person would be a Hall of Famer, wouldn't you? And yet, if I say the name, you go, well...
Right, because you could say the 15th most yards from scrimmage
is
in
not
NFL
in
history.
Fame. Yeah.
We're going to have Tiki Barber on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
I'd say, Jeff, I'm going to be sick tomorrow,
well,
first of all.
That's just nuts, right? So, it's a weird and kind of a fun argument, and it's always a great debate. Baseball does a poor job with it, as we've gotten so much better at evaluating production because of better metrics. They're all used as tools to evaluate what a player is, but now we include so many things that show you the totality of what a player is, that what ends up happening is when you do the comparison resumes and you put the, outline rather than the definition, you don't have the face. I go, this resume went into the Hall of Fame 27 years ago, overwhelmingly voted in. This resume hasn't sniffed the Hall of Fame. And then you're looking at those numbers and you're like, they're the same player. Oh, really? They are the exact same player. Right. That's what the metrics have kind of done. And now you're like, oh, well, what do we do? What do we do? And that's
because if it's like a court of law and there's a precedent and you've got to adjudicate the precedent as the judge, then a lot of people are going to get in.
Yeah.
But you got to weigh also evolution of the game, not just in the way you measure it.
Eras, ballparks, evolution of the game, all of it. What were you in your era? Were you one of your 5 best players at your position in your era? What was working against you? What was working for you? Like, for example, I mean, we love to make fun of Derek Jeter, partly because Yankee fans like Derek Jeter in an unhealthy way. And they'll have you believe Derek Jeter's the greatest shortstop to ever play.
Yes, they will. And they'll mean it.
And they mean it. And
it's like Kobe fans.
Right.
And they're the same people.
Yeah. And they're nuts. Right. It's just crazy. So, but that doesn't mean Derek Jeter wasn't great. He was. He was.
Right.
So we make both arguments. Like, you need to settle down. There have been 50 better shortstops than Derek Jeter, but your boy's a Hall of Famer. Okay. What was working for him? What was working against him? Well, what was working for him was the bandbox to right center where you could inside out a swing 290 and have it be a home run. Got it. What was working against it?
Put that dude at Citi Field. Yeah. Be a career 255 hitter.
Well, that or he'd just be a doubles hitter. But he, I mean, that's what I mean. It's a fun deal, though, because are you going to take away somebody's ability to adjust to ballpark? So, for example, in Fenway, one of the things that worked out with Bill James was that he knew Boston had it wrong all those years. They were stockpiling right-handed hitters because the left field wall is the green monster. And they're like, all you got to do is pop it up to left field. It's a home run or it's a double off the wall. And he was like, no. Guys are working too hard to pull pitches because as right-handed hitters, they know that walls. They're trying to do that. You need to stockpile left-hand hitters. You need to start finding lefties that make sense here so they can flick the ball oppo.
Right.
Yeah, and that way they'll hit the all fields because they're already going to pull that fastball on the inside and it's short down the right field line there.
But then there's also fame, the fame factor. I think that should weigh into the Hall of Fame discussion. And Derek Jeter is iconic. Big Papi in Boston, working with that green monster when he goes oppo and then just hitting it 450 down the line and right. There's fame that goes with them. Icons. So I think if it's 50-50 and you've got somebody who is a face of a sport for a while, for one reason or another, be it, endorsement deals or aptitude.
Well, it better be.
That should factor.
It
No,
better be aptitude.
It pushes you over the finish line. Is my point.
Yeah,
if it's
because
close.
there are guys now in all leagues that, for whatever reason, they're very affable, as you're noting, or they've got a face the camera loves.
Ricky Fowler, World Golf Hall of Famer.
Okay,
clearly.
So, but Ricky Fowler. Now, the one thing I would say, this gets interesting. Ricky's hurt by this because he's always on television, and the backlash is, you know, win a major. I would also point out Ricky Fowler's been a really good player for a very long time in an impossibly difficult sport and has a gazillion runner-up finishes. He's also won like 9 times on tour. It's hard to win on tour. He's won some big events. He's been a Ryder Cupper, so he's not a bum. You know, he's not a bum.
No, he's not a bum.
He's not a bum at all. He's been like, if his resume, if you randomly did the resume thing that we were just talking about, and I said that was going to be a guest in here tomorrow, you'd be like, oh, that's going to be cool. We're talking to a guy that won this many times on the tour and was on the right. Who is it, Jeff? And then I would tell you it's Ricky Fowler. You'd be like, oh,
I'm going to be sick tomorrow.
So I'm just telling you, it's very difficult, right? Well, okay. Baker Mayfield is great in those ads. In every one of them, he's great. He's just a terrible quarterback.
Right. You got to be close enough, though. I don't think he's going to sniff it.
No.
College Football Hall of Fame?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, likely. Yeah, as a college, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, yes. Johnny Manziel get in the College Football Hall of Fame. Sure. No, you do. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, if you're great in college.
If only for trucking that lady at the Chick-fil-A bowl.
Ass cheeks to face. Oh, one of the great ones against Duke.
That's right.
That always stands out
and
to
Duke
me.
had a huge lead, and they
Duke
blew it.
Should have won the game. That's back when Limp Fish had a little thing going. Dead fish handshake.
We went from dead fish to limp fish?
Further besmirching my...
Is that what retirement does to us all?
Dead limp. Either way. Not strong. Not a strong handshake at all.
But I know the Mannings.
But those butt cheeks to that face were strong. That lady went flying. What a great day. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is an insurance market alert from Barbara at Faircloth Insurance in Tallahassee. A few months ago, I asked you to contact your legislators to help stop the skyrocketing property insurance rates in Florida. Other states average 2 lawsuits per day on property insurance claims. Florida has 384 per day. The property owners of Florida are being taken advantage of, but it is not by the insurance companies. The companies are paying out 10 times the cost of a claim or more that would have been paid anyway. People are canvassing neighborhoods, knocking on doors, suggesting that the property owner may have some damage. The property owner innocently signs something that turns all control of any claim settlement to an attorney that becomes the person designated to get the claim check and who controls the disbursement of the claim payment. If we want these rates to go down, we must reach out to our legislators and let them know how unaffordable home insurance has become and that we want them to support reform that will fix the issues. This has been an insurance market alert from Barbara at Faircloth Insurance in Tallahassee.
Refreshing and simple. 2 words you don't hear many people use to describe their experience going through the process of getting a home loan. That's what puts the Hamilton Home Loans experience in a category all their own. If you're buying or refinancing a home, Hamilton Home Loans will provide a personalized mortgage experience that is dedicated to making the process refreshingly simple. It all begins with an initial consultation with an experienced Hamilton Home Loans advisor to find out what your goals are in order to find the right mortgage to suit your specific needs. Then, your personal home loan advisor will take you through all the steps from application, underwriting, approval, and closing, all the way to the front steps of your new home. Once you've experienced the Hamilton Home Loan process, you can be a customer for life and never have to pay lender fees again. For first responders, nurses, physician assistants, teachers, active and retired military, ask about the Hamilton for Heroes program. Personalized attention with your needs put first. Now that's refreshingly simple. Find out more at HamiltonHomeLoans.com. That's HamiltonHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 200719.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF. Your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Here we go. Your next chance to grow your green this spring and win $1,000 is coming up at 2 p.m.
I just won $1,000.
Listen for the keyword at the top of the hour. Then enter that keyword online at realtalk93.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
$7:30. Speaking of the draft night, always fun. And this one particular night, Tom, you and I sitting next to one another, laughed uproariously and did so for years to come after. And I will again, as I'm reminded of this wonderful moment. So Laremy Tunsil,
This is so good.
has launched an NFT. And I have to tell you, kudos. Jeff Cameron Show PR firm, thumbs up, Laremy Tunsil, launches an NFT of the NFL draft gas mask video. He is doing that to benefit charity. So this is a win across the board, and it's awesome. 6 years ago, the NFL draft was infamously overshadowed for him by a video of him smoking marijuana out of a gas mask. He's turning that particular incident into an NFT. The Houston Texans offensive tackle is minting a one-of-one NFT of the clip. He announced on Wednesday.
The image is up on the feed right now.
Oh, look at that. It's fantastic. And he's laughing his ass off. Look at that. Oh, that is so good. I think I began the show talking a little bit about how time changes, helps shift, warp, change the way you view incidents, things, people, careers. Fast forward 6 seasons from that moment in which Laremy Tunsil was seen getting high as a kite, using a gas mask as the delivery.
And they published it on the ESPN broadcast.
Yeah.
They showed the world.
Yeah, somebody leaked that. Some hating ass decided to release that on a night that should have been a shining moment for Laremy Tunsil. And in that moment, if you recall, he was shamed and there was thought of, well, can they get out of whatever deal they were going to make with him? Is he going to get drafted at all? Like, people acted as if this guy had shot somebody, as opposed to hilariously getting high using a gas mask at some point in college and having it captured on video, which is unfortunate for him that video was then released.
It's a friend who was not coming along for the ride.
Man, friend's taking an ass kicking. at some point here.
Laremy told him, I'm off you for life before that. Clearly.
Yeah.
So I'll show you.
So he's using this now. I love the cause, by the way. I think this is great. He announced on Wednesday the portion of the proceeds will benefit the Last Prisoner Project. If you guys don't know about that, I think it's great. Works to free those that have been incarcerated for cannabis-only offenses, which is insane. So good for him. Quote, I'm officially moving on, and I'm putting this moment in the past. And making some money for charity. The video leaked off of his Twitter account years ago. Also, we've learned a little bit about that. Man, Twitter has come back to haunt people.
Oh, so it was his own account? I didn't realize that.
Well, like years and years earlier.
So somebody pulled the video?
Somebody pulled the video, yeah. And it was without his consent. And it was minutes before the start of the draft.
That's right. I just couldn't believe it made the draft broadcast.
Yeah.
Like, what's the conversation in the truck? Hey, guys, we have this video of Laremy Tunsil using a gas mask to smoke weed. Should we publish it? Yes. Go ahead.
You kidding? We should lead.
What?
So that's why he fell to 13th at the time. He was drafted by Miami, started all 3 years there before they traded him to the Texans. And he has said before that he believes it's helped shape negative opinions of him. He said it was probably one of the worst feelings I've ever experienced at the time. To this day, I play with a little bit of anger because I feel like I have to continually prove myself. I don't feel like I get the credit I deserve because of the gas mask. I think he's right about that. He hasn't been a bad player. He's been a good player. So, yeah, I think that's accurate. But think if it happened now. Again, to my point, think if it happened now. Weed's legal in half these places where these guys shoot these videos. I mean, you'd be like, well, whatever.
At least medically speaking, yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much legal. And we're moving to a place where it just will be across the board. And we also know, like, hey, my man was sitting on a couch at a house. No, it's very different the way we perceive these things.
Oh, yeah. Short of, both houses of Congress having people like Richard Nixon and Futurama. It's going to happen soon. They're 95 and they're holding on for dear life. But in about 10 years time, 15 years time.
Well, even I don't know. Like my dad would never be a guy that's pro weed per se, just because he's in his 70s and he grew up in an era where he'd be like, well, I don't know. It's a slippery slope, all that nonsense. And
nonsense.
Yeah. It's not a slippery slope. People who smoke weed don't suddenly start doing cocaine. That's a stupid argument.
The gateway drug
it's
thing?
It's not a slippery slope gateway at all. Anyhow, that said, like, that's how old people think. A lot of times that's how old people thought. But I think even old people are like, it's probably not any worse than or worse at all than alcohol.
And I loved Willie Nelson's music in the 50s anyway.
Come to think of it, some of my best friends in the 60s were crazy potheads. They turned out just fine. Yeah. So even the older group who you don't expect to turn over a new leaf and decide that the way they thought about things is antiquated.
Tie-dye has come back in their lives.
Yeah. So good for Laremy Tunsil, who's turned this into an NFT and reminded us of what an awesome moment that was as we sat watching the draft. Because what I remember most about it is that we couldn't hear the sound real well. And we couldn't understand why, as we were waiting the draft pick, was Laremy Tunsil, or this man. At the time, we didn't know who it was because all you could saw was the gas mask with smoke. And I remember thinking, well, this is hilarious.
It's like, did somebody change the channel?
Pirate TV.
Right. And there's the ESPN bottom line under. You're like, what?
Yeah. I was like, this is incredible. What is going on? There's a picture of a dude on a couch getting high using a gas mask. This is incredible. I thought we were watching the draft.
Did Michael Irvin finally lose it?
It was great. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A woman suffered minor injuries after her car ran off the road and flipped over on West Tennessee Street Tuesday morning. The Leon County Sheriff's Office was called to the scene of the crash at 8:17 a.m. LCSO Public Information Officer Angela Green says no serious injuries were reported in the single-car crash. No word yet on the cause of the crash. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says the Early County coroner has pleaded guilty to 2 counts of misdemeanor sexual battery and must resign from his position. 51-year-old Todd Hunter of Blakely, Georgia, was originally arrested in connection to the investigation. investigation. He was sentenced to 2 years of probation and was ordered to have no contact with his victims. Hunter was denied first offender status. Hunter allegedly sexually assaulted a person in his home, and investigators believe there are other victims. If you have any information for GBI, you can reach out to the anonymous tip line at 1-800-597-8477. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs level off around 84 this afternoon under mainly sunny skies, northerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 59 tonight, mainly clear. Lots of sunshine tomorrow, high of 84. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times Friday with highs in the low 80s, chance for scattered thunderstorms Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 79.
Sellers Tile does it better for business owners, contractors, designers, and homeowners. Better design ideas, better quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring, better mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions. And Sellers makes it easier with their amazing showroom and first-class professionals. Maybe it's time to get Sellers working for you on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com for better style, quality, and design. Go with Sellers in Tallahassee. Call 656-8453.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the two of them had been making chili and gotten food on their clothes. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
Think there was at least one hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is sponsored by the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans. Great rates, cutting-edge technology, and transparent communication is the recipe for a 5-star mortgage experience at FSUHomeLoans.com.
Yankee Hotel Foxtrot came out and realized that much time has passed since indeed that day to now. You go, well, damn it, man, because I can remember driving down John Knox Road in the rain, listening to that song, thinking this album is fantastic. I'm very excited to listen to it again when I get home tonight. And that was a long damn time ago.
That John Knox parking lot. Good memories there. Throwing the ball around. Sometimes we take a wedge out there. Hit some wedges in that backfield.
Good times, buddy.
20 years. The reissue of the vinyl is coming soon.
Yeah, I know. People are nervous, man. Miami just keeps signing guys down there. Signing guys to deals with their NIL pimp. And Ruiz is paying away.
Nevin Shapiro was ahead of his time.
I said that yesterday on Headline.
You did not, really?
Did, word for word.
Oh, how about that? I promise I didn't listen. Not because I didn't want to. I didn't listen.
It's your day off. So we'll see. Some of the guys that they've signed, I'm like, by all means. But some of the others, I've thought, well, that would have been nice. Some of them they're getting just from coming over from Oregon, which makes sense. Linebacker from UCLA, I would have liked that.
Well, the thing that they're doing right now is the thing that hopefully we can, maybe this summer or next year and the year after that. They're overpaying because they've been bad for a while.
Yeah.
It's like anything else.
They've got a dude who's willing to do it.
I know this. I'm a Met fan. There have been a lot of contracts over the years. Santana, Beltran, and others. Scherzer this offseason. You have to pay more because you suck and your reputation's bad. So hopefully we can get to that point.
Yeah. By the way, so you'll hear people when Miami, and we'll see if the team's any good this year down there.
But that Miami team that lost to Florida State last year, a 5-7 Florida State team, that you hear the desperation in our fan base. It's like, oh, do something, anything. The prudent play is to just not to just go grab anybody that's in the portal and say, well, we got to get them because they're going to get them. No, don't do that at all. Don't do that at all. But do your best. Obviously, we have those working behind the scenes, third-party entities that are efforting to do the nefarious, which is to bring in those that we need to upgrade the roster. And you've got spots available. So I'm not saying don't do that, but let's be judicious. Let's decide that this kid is, yes, a player of note and not just a player.
Right. To use The Sopranos as an analogy, we're Adriana and somebody else is driving. That's somebody Silvio. And Silvio's on the exit right now. Silvio could just be going for a refill of gas. We don't know.
Yeah, wouldn't have gotten in the car.
Yeah.
Also, that scene is so troubling. Just as it's happening, you're like, we know where this is headed. Wake up, sister. These are the last moments.
Well, she should have never taken him back when she was in her mother's house.
Yeah.
After she had been beaten. And he comes in, let's get married. And she's still got the bruises on her face. You know, that was
You
that
also
was it.
can't talk to the FBI. I'm just saying. You got to let that one go.
That informant's or not, that undercover agent's accent was pretty good, though.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good sell.
Yeah.
The big hair and everything.
Yeah. You recently redid the watch, right?
The whole thing. Yep. I saw so much more this time.
Oh, I bet you do it a third time, you would again.
I'm going to need some time.
The wire's that way. That way when you go back. You're like, oh, man.
I got kind of sick of it in season 4 because I know where it's going. You get that kind of anxiety. So I'm going to need some time.
Any rewatch it.
Yeah.
My son is watching Breaking Bad from the beginning. He's never seen it, obviously.
Oh, my.
Yeah, he's locked in. He's on season 2. The other day he came out. We were getting ready for school. I was getting him breakfast. And I have a rule, like you can watch it, but you got to turn your TV off by 11. So he comes out of his room. It's like 7:30 in the morning. I'm telling him I got eggs for him. And he's like, the turtle. I was like, oh, the turtle. I forgot about I forgot about the turtle.
Boy, at the rate kids can binge things, though, he'll catch up and he'll get through Better Call Saul before the season's over.
Well, he won't he might because I told him when he finishes, it's my entryway into Better Call Saul.
Oh, there you go.
So there it is. So we'll watch that together.
Final season is off and running.
No updates, kids. I know you desperately need updates. I want an update, Cameron. Shut the hell up about The Wire or anything else. I want an update. There's no updates. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Woo! Not a damn thing.
There is a question, though.
How would the JCS PR firm handle the Ben Simmons situation from the Nets' perspective? Peace? I would have never made that deal to begin with. Bum. Mental stress causing back pain? ? Sheesh. Ryan, this is what a sorry situation that is. I do think it's something that will be addressed by the NBA. And I don't mean in particular Ben Simmons, because if anybody's stupid enough to pay people $100+ million to never play, well, then that's on them. But I would tell you this, that I don't think teams are going to look at certain players the way that they used to. So Kyrie's a good example. Obviously, when Kyrie plays, he's really good. When he plays, which is almost never. And he's also not fully committed to playing for your organization. If he were, he would have done some things so that he could be eligible to play more frequently. So why am I going to give a max contract to a guy who's maybe going to be there for me? Maybe going to show up in important games, maybe play an important series, maybe help us amass a regular season record that allows us to have home court, allows us to do more of what we're trying to do and avoid certain matchups in the early rounds of the playoffs. Maybe. Like, I'm not giving people max contracts to just never play when you give me any inkling of an in to your psyche, which suggests you're about you and not the hard work that it takes to win, and not willing to sacrifice time, in some cases, obviously, comfort. I mean, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, comfort's a very good word, because comfort is a luxury word, not a necessity word.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at a guy like Harden. He showed you who he was years ago. When he's unhappy, he just doesn't play hard. Like, what does that reveal to you about the psyche of that player? Any player. I'm using him as a good example because when he wants out, he just doesn't play hard. He gets fat and he just self-destructs, and you have to watch it every night. And you're like, I see what you're doing. And I'm powerless to do anything about it because you don't care. You don't care. Now imagine feeling that kind of bereft of hope, as I say, if we come to work every day and I find out you don't care and I'm not in a position, I'm powerless to do something about that, you're going to sabotage what I'm trying to do. No, man. No, that ain't happening.
Make me. Come on.
Right. Can you imagine?
Make me care.
Right. So that is something where I would say, I always bring this up somewhat facetiously, but also I'm kind of serious about this. I'm surprised ass kickings aren't a common occurrence in a locker room. I'm telling you, man, these are all the preternaturally great athletes, hyper competitive, had to have been to get to where they were. You cannot make it out, from the lower levels of whatever sport you're playing to the creme de la creme, the best in the world on a nightly basis and shine without a commitment and fierce competitive spirit. And then all of a sudden, you've got $100 million, and now you're not, don't want to play through the aggravated knee injury. You don't want to play. I'm a little stressed. I'm a little stressed out. Don't know if I can handle. Man, no, get the hell out of here with that. We would have a problem.
I think it's the other end. We're talking about how, player empowerment in college football is on the other side of the spectrum. There's an overcorrection. The pendulum swings.
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing here.
I think so.
Because player salaries are getting so crazy high. And hey, listen, that's what the market
fine,
bears.
Obviously.
I got no problem with that.
Right. You're worth whatever you can get paid.
But, for years, we've just kind of accepted how ownership groups, and they still do in some sports, abuse their power.
Oh, of course
See the
they do.
Pittsburgh Pirates and many others.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, Robert Nutting, the owner of the Pirates, makes money and spends precious little of it to put a competitive team out in the most gorgeous ballpark and tradition-laden city in America when it comes to baseball, and he doesn't care. He gets yelled at by everybody. What does he care?
Intentional tanking, that's an organizational philosophy. I know, people were talking about the Bengals ownership, that they shouldn't be rewarded because they've been the pits of the world for decades, and yet here they are in the Super Bowl. They shouldn't be rewarded for being a-holes. Well, now you're shifting it towards the players, especially with unions that are much more powerful. Because I can go back to a situation about 20 years ago now. You'll remember this. It was Vinny LeCavalier did not get along with head coach John Tortorella. Doesn't matter that it's hockey.
Right.
It matters the circumstance. The player said, I'm never playing for this coach. The general manager called the coach in and the player and says, I'm not going to be the GM that trades you, and I'm not going to be the GM that fires you. So you all figure it out. Left the room, and they had to figure it out. They did, and they ended up winning. But I don't know that can exist anymore when you've got a player who commands $200 or $300 million and doesn't want to do anything.
Well, that's the thing, though. You only give that contract to the player who does care as much as LeBron James cares, and does care as much as Kevin Durant cares, and does care as much as guys who will sell their souls to win a championship. I mean, you don't think that Steph Curry cares? I mean, I do. I think he cares greatly. I think a lot of these guys do. It's a misnomer to think that it's the norm that a guy doesn't care. I'm not saying you do. Most of these guys care greatly. Even after they're paid, they care greatly.
I think
they've assumed some of the power that should have rightfully always been there, especially in basketball, where one player makes such a big difference. I mean, take Michael Jordan off the Bulls, right? But what I'm saying is, if you identify a guy who shows you he's even capable for a second of laying down like a dog because he can dictate terms and he's willing to do that, you don't pay that guy and you don't take a chance on a guy like that.
I agree, but I think it's apples to apples with the ownership because not every owner is trying to tank. Not every owner doesn't care. Most of them don't. Most of them try to win. Most of them are just incompetent or some,
Well, the owners now, though, this is why you have the play-in stuff that you have in the NBA playoff system is they're trying to incentivize non-tanking. So, that's why they set up this situation.
We do the lottery system and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you have to reset the way you do things because there's always a bad actor. It happens on the billionaire level, and it happens on the $100 million level for the players.
Of course. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm leading to. I'm telling you, like, that was the most delusional press conference after a team gets swept. To hear Kyrie talk about, me and KD and Joe, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Will we? We'll figure it out.
And he said,
and where have you been?
Yeah, he said, I've got that fire inside of me now, and I'm very happy. I'm very, I'm excited about the fire I've got inside of me.
That was
really? Okay.
We'll see as a family how we're gonna put this. Get that. That is
The broom's on fire.
Man.
You're not on fire.
That's a toughie. It's Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
I'll never forget
that moment.
As long as I live.
As long as I live.
My first call ever as a member of the National Guard.
When we got to the armory, they briefed us on the wildfires. They were getting dangerously close to homes.
Helicopters were going out to drop water on the fires. Guys in the unit were preparing for firefighting with local fire crews.
At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This is Brian Kilmeade, and I'm excited to be on the air in the capital city. Be sure to tune into my show. I'll be giving you all the latest news, information, and the truth you demand. The Brian Kilmeade Show is live from 9 till noon, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
The Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And then SEC East totals. I gave commentary on the college sports book on YouTube. If you'd like to get my thoughts on that. And I bring up something here that reminds us of why it is we are so immensely frustrated with Florida State. I was a guest on a show in Kentucky when Mark Stoops was hired. And I was asked about Mark Stoops taking over at Kentucky, the decision they made to hire him, to give pros and cons of who he was as a coach, as I saw it from the standpoint of Florida State in his time here. And also what I thought, and I thought it was an interesting question, what I thought projecting forward of Kentucky's chances of competing for and someday winning the East. I was asked this question by a guy who is a Kentucky expert on a Kentucky sports talk station. So I thought that was fascinating. First of all, thanks for offering up the opportunity. But I kind of turned the tables and threw it back on his chair and said, hey, look, man, I mean, You probably don't want to hear from me. I'm down here in Tallahassee. If I called you and asked you about a coach, but I wouldn't give a damn what your opinion was about Florida State football. So, and we chuckled together, right? Fast forward to where we are. And I wrote this in my build-up in prepping for the college sports book. I'm reading from what I wrote. Real quick hit here on Kentucky as Mark Stoops' team won 10 games a year ago. The total sits at an even 8. And while I'm concerned about the loss of Wan'Dale Robinson at receiver, I do like that the Wildcats returned quarterback Will Levis, who has room to improve but is trending in the right direction. He'll have running back Chris Rodriguez Jr. back on offense and, more importantly, an improving defense that returns 64% of its production. Kentucky avoids Alabama, always nice, and although they face Georgia, they get them along with South Carolina and Mississippi State at home. I can see 9 wins here, and even with that minor step back in record, it's enough to cash on the over total of 8 at -110. I'll take Kentucky over 8. Now, that's what I wrote about Kentucky for the college sports book. Think about that. Think about what I just read and said about Kentucky. In the SEC, okay, a better conference than the ACC. These days, by a lot. Not always that way, but these days it is by a lot. I'm talking about Kentucky taking a step back and winning 9 games. And here we sit.
That's why I thought he'd be a good hire for here, because he understood how to do more with less, and he learned that on the job after being here. So you have familiarity with Tallahassee, and then you also walked into a situation. The SEC wasn't always making that kind of money, especially not when he first got there.
No. And his approach has been to stockpile interior linemen. If you look at what he did, he said, we can't compete for skill players. We're not going to be able to compete for the best quarterback in the country. He's not coming to Kentucky. We won't be able to get elite wide receivers. He's not coming to Kentucky because guess what? You don't have an elite quarterback. So they're not coming. So you don't bang your head against the wall if you're Mark Stoops at Kentucky. You say, how can I best compete and keep games close to show progress and make a bowl in the mighty SEC without the best skill players? Stockpile offensive and defensive linemen. The answer is to get more, to throw numbers at the problem, offensive and defensive linemen. And where it started for him was he stockpiled defensive linemen, and they were able to make teams one-dimensional. They could create a more level playing field by shutting down the run in a very physical conference. So you walked into any game, and that travels. So you go into any game, any atmosphere, and say, you're going to have to throw the ball to beat me tonight. And maybe you will. Maybe you will. Maybe we don't have the skills to cover your guys, and maybe your quarterback's good enough. But you're not going to bludgeon me. You're not going to do what mighty SEC teams do to lesser SEC teams, which is to line up, shove it down your throat, emasculate you, wear you out, and by the time we get to the third quarter, this is about to be an ass beating. No, we're not doing that. You're going to have to throw because you're going to be 3rd and 5 or longer every night that we play. And then confidence is gained. Slowly but surely, you're in games that you're losing, but you're in games. It's the classic lose them close and then win them close type scenario. So that is really, and then if you do enough of that, and this is what we're hoping happens this year for Florida State, if you do enough of that lose close business and then win a couple of those, and all of a sudden you go to a bowl and somebody goes, man, he's in year 4 and he's still got his job and they've got a winning record. There's something happening there. And that's what he's done. That's ingenious.
To quickly clarify, that doesn't mean I wasn't happy with the Norvell hire. It's just multiple paths. I thought that Mark would have been a good table setter, if not the guy to get us to a couple levels.
I worried about it from a recruiting standpoint. I worried that he is not charismatic enough, but I, in retrospect, look to be wrong. He's done a great job, not a good job, a great job at Kentucky. Hour number 2 forthcoming.
Here we go. It's time for a chance to grow your green and win $1,000 cash plus a shot at a $10,000 grand prize. Here's your new keyword.
Win. W-I-N, win. W-I-N, win.
Precious few people are really worth a business paying money to have them speak on that business's behalf. if the goal is to further expose your business to more people and in turn make more money. There aren't that many guys that have that kind of pull, that kind of sway with consumers. So if I own a car business or a lawn business or whatever you want to say, okay, I think the kids coming out, and this isn't one of you kids, I'm just saying people have this idea that their worth economically is so much greater than it is. Like, am I going to sell more cars if Florida State's, and let's say I own this car business and I'm a Nole through and through, a booster and everything else, and I care deeply about it. Okay, I want to contribute, right? How is it that my business will be rewarded? The player will be rewarded. Everybody wins. The program's better because I've done this. Well, do you think that Jordan Travis, and this is not a knock on Jordan Travis, but do you think if you gave Jordan Travis money to stand in front of a sign outside of the car lot you own, you'd sell more cars? You think he has that kind of pull? Well, you have to decide that. I'm here to tell you that very few players have that kind of influence on consumers. And it's in my mind, like 99% of the people who play would not really sway anybody anyway to go get a different kind of insurance, to buy a car, to eat this food, to do any of it. And that's not just here. That's at Alabama and other places. Like, man, you're not influencing consumer behavior. You're not. Very rarely.
But can you give a walk-on an NIL deal?
Yeah, so, right, to save scholarships. Oh, this is a conversation I've been
so that
thinking
they
about.
stick with sports-specific training all year round. What are we doing? Why are you even going to class? You know what? You don't need to. We're going to set you up with the best trainer.
Even walk-ons have to go to class. They are still students.
Well, I mean, what if it's just a dude? Well, I mean,
you have to be part of the school.
You're paid for that, you know.
Yeah,
there you go. You're taking the minimum. You're doing golf class once a semester. There you go. There's your 1 credit hour. You're a student.
Yeah, Dick working at Avis doesn't get to walk over when he's 27 and play on Saturday
because
you gave him some
money.
What
if Dick is taking bowling class at the new Crenshaw whenever it's...
He has 1 class?
Yeah, 1 credit hour. I mean, what are we doing here? Where does it end?
Who made that catch? It was Dick from Avis. What a catch. Man,
how's he on the team? He's taking bowling. 1 credit.
At Crenshaw. I thought Crenshaw got bowled over. It did. Don't worry about it. Stop talking about this.
Discount. Order yours today and take advantage of our best Mother's Day sale ever. Visit legacybox.com/LBox and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/LBox for 60% off. legacybox.com/LBox.
Ordering food from your favorite local restaurant just got easier and without the high-priced fees like those other Eats and Bites. Order today from foodiestakeout.com and every dollar you spend at select local restaurants goes directly to that restaurant and stays right here in our community. Text Foodies to 850-230-9456. That's 230-9456 and get 10% off your first order at foodiestakeout.com. It's that easy. Text Foodies to 230-9456 for 10% off your first order from foodiestakeout.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get the hour started with something Tom and I were talking about during the break. First of all, updates for Florida State. You guys are obviously wanting to know, if there's anything coming down the pike for FSU football and all that good stuff. No, not a lot that we can anticipate just now. Obviously, this is an important week, very important week, because a lot of names are going to enter the transfer portal, as is Sunday, the deadline for those that expect to play in the fall. Got to get that name in that portal for that to happen, which opens the landscape, which means, hey, this is intriguing. There's a name. Would you go after that? And we'll speculate. That's what you do on Sports Talk Radio to some degree, whether that would be a good fit or not, and those kinds of things. But in the interim, no, that's not like it's. I'm not going to tell you that there's 6 or 7 people coming down the line that are expected to sign with Florida State or that are interested in Florida State, because we don't know that right now. And I haven't heard anything about that.
All that is right now is just the building of the grocery list. That's what happens on Sunday night, because this is it. These are the priorities. Should we take a chance on this guy? There are no others coming, and that's what you do. Then June and July, hopefully by June 15th, you have a bunch of answers, but certainly none by this weekend other than on the export market, not the import market.
All right, Van Life. I'll take the bait. You want me to talk about that? I will. This is how long it takes to talk about that. He writes, why not talk about the new hire of Brian Pinsky as the coach of FSU soccer?
That's not what he wrote. He wrote, why not talk about Brian Pinsky?
Right, he did. In all caps. Yeah, there it is. How pressing it is. I brought it up already. I've already talked about it this week. So I wasn't going to do it again because it's a soccer coach. But here you go. Here's my thought on the hiring of Brian Pinsky. I have one. In the wake of the tenure and storied career of Mark Krikorian, anybody that Florida State hires is going to seem like second fiddle or less than the guy that was just here. Now, Florida State could do nothing about that situation after the fact. Mark Krikorian, Mike Alford couldn't see eye to eye, didn't agree on the sky being blue. It's going to be a problem. Turned out enough of a problem that Mark Krikorian said, I'm out. I'm out. This despite Florida State offering him more money than any soccer coach, collegiate soccer coach in America. Significantly more. So it was not money, and it was not Florida State being cheap. This was a deep-seated problem that existed prior to Coach Mike Alford being named athletic director. And it does not appear, certainly not in retrospect, as I note, that it could have been resolved, because this has been, and this was, an issue for some time. So he walks. So Florida State's stuck. They're stuck because what are you going to do? How are you going to replace a guy that has been here for the better part of 20 years and won 3 national titles? Well, all you can do is seek desperately to find somebody, anybody that has a very solid resume and is well thought of in the field, and is somebody that at one time, many moons ago, Mark Krikorian suggested they hire and bring in as an assistant or somebody that could help with this program. And that's who Brian Pinsky is. And Brian Pinsky went to Tennessee and did great things. Not Mark Krikorian things, but did great things. So you take the guy that at one time was a National Coach of the Year, 2010, and whose resume, while considerably lesser than Mark Krikorian's, is still solid. And you say, okay, let's offer him the job and see if he takes it. I thought his quotes upon taking the job do, I think, reveal a man who is over the moon to be here in Tallahassee. And I think most fans always appreciate that. And they didn't sound like idle praise. It sounded like he has longed for an opportunity such as this to be the head man at a place like Florida State that has had the most amount of success over the last 10 years, certainly, of any soccer program in the country. So when I read him say these words, Florida State's soccer program is regarded as one of, if not the best in the country, and rightfully so, This opportunity to be a part of this program with a remarkable tradition is an honor. What Mark Krikorian did here over the last 17 years is unparalleled in our game. Simply put, he's been the best in the business. It's more than just the soccer program that attracted me to Florida State. The status of the university as a top-tier public institution academically is just as impressive as the athletic history. I have coached in the ACC, and I know the strength of this league is second to none in the country. I take over a program with endless humility and understanding of the task at hand. Well done. All right, I've talked about it. We're moving on.
It was a little much.
I agree, but there it is. And by the way, let me just point this out so that there's a better understanding of how this all works. There are many programs in a number of years, the last number of years, that have had infinitely more success than Florida State's football program. But I am not going to talk a lot about the volleyball team, the tennis team, the track team. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time, even though I'm dear friends and co-workers, co-hosts, with the head coach of golf. Don't talk a lot about Florida State golf either. There are things that move the needle and things that don't, regardless of their success. And I can tell you, soccer, these days, baseball, track, tennis, golf, they're not the things. They don't. My audience would go click. Now, I would have a riveted van life storytelling locked in, but everybody else, it'd be problematic.
Hey, there's a lot of grocery stores out there.
It'd be problematic. So, hey, listen, I at the end of the day, I thought it was a good hire, and I mentioned as much earlier this week. So we move forward. There's not a lot there. I would tell you that this kind of to piggyback a little bit behind the scenes. We've been talking a lot about where Florida State sits and this, I think, pervasive angst in this fan base. And it's come to a head on the heels of this past season, in the midst of spring football, the general frustrations of a long, hot summer to be that people begin to feel right around now. This is when you begin to realize, as fans and parents, we're about to enter the Sahara. It's dry, baby. It's hot, and there's not a lot. But when it's on the heels of disappointing season after disappointing season, and you mix that with extreme desperation at a time where the landscape is shifting as dramatically as it is now, it leads to infighting. It leads to fan against fan sniping. It leads to give me something, anything, a kernel, just some sort of hope that I can latch on to get me through these months and days that we've always loathed, even in the midst of greatness, even when the program was fresh off a national championship.
Yeah, because it's not desperation. It's anxiety. It's like you're waiting for Christmas, and it's December 10th. You're like, come on. I want to see if I got that bike. Let's go. Move it, move it, move it. Can't wait for the next present.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, it's like, and the oddity is that we love these other programs. We love all of these things. I mean, you and I have talked at length about the transformation of Florida State softball. Like, that was an unwatchable sport for basically the entirety of the sport. For the history of the sport, it was unwatchable until it wasn't. And that is a very recent phenomenon. And I don't even mean because we're great and because Lonnie's done such a great job and that these girls are incredible athletes and a joy to watch play the game with that level of expertise and skill. I don't even mean that. I mean, the game itself has improved because of that elevated athleticism, and gone are the days of the running bunts, the incessant running bunts, and how it is that you sat and watched games where all you really noticed were how tiny the dimensions of the field were. Now you see the athleticism on display. The game's played quicker and better at a time that baseball has seen a demise in activity, like literal activity in a game. So the two have married in such a way that it has seen the elevation of one, degradation of another. And I do find it interesting. But I'm not going to lead my show with it, nor am I going to spend a lot of time on it because it doesn't carry the day the way, say, football does, even when we're terrible.
Correct. But it might a little bit more, and it has a little bit more in past years when you get to regional, super regional, and Oklahoma City in the case of college softball, not Omaha in the case of college baseball.
Yeah.
And that's something that preceded Florida State's dominance, was the trend of the numbers were better on the television networks for softball and college baseball for two reasons. Number one, you've got a better product than college baseball on every night at the same time. The seasons run concurrently. So if you want to watch the best baseball, you're not watching college baseball. And number two, in the same way, it's kind of the same point, but this is the best you've got of softball. This is the best there is. There is no Major League Softball that's on a, ESPN2 running concurrently with
and it
the
would suck
College
if it
World
were.
Series.
Yeah, you wouldn't watch it.
Probably not, but I have to say that
you wouldn't watch it because what helps this is that not only is the product better and more athletic, et cetera, but it's because it's Florida State. I mean, let's be honest. You're not watching rando Auburn versus Tulane.
No.
You're not. So
no, but I might watch a College World Series game in Florida State's half of the bracket.
But because there are direct impacts down the line. Yes.
But that's important because there are sports where, for example, the women's basketball tournament, I'm not going to watch somebody else play on our half of the bracket, but I'll watch Florida State play.
Right.
So there's
the
or indoor
World
volleyball or something. I'm not going to watch indoor volleyball if Florida State makes the tournament or they're, the ACC semis. I'm not watching the other semifinal match. I'll watch Florida State.
Yeah.
But in softball, I might.
Yeah, because it's the World Series. I mean, once you get out there, we're close. It can happen, and we've seen it happen. So yeah, you would then, but you're not. I mean, the sport hasn't come so far. Listen, it's not. My point being that most of the people listening to this program, driving around or on the board or anywhere else, would watch any football game, any college game, anyone.
Correct.
So the aforementioned Tulane Auburn. Screw it. It's noon. I'm watching. I got it on. You're going to watch
it. It's Thursday at 7. It's the best we got.
You're going to watch it.
Yeah.
That's not true of softball, period.
Right. But also, multiple things being true. Softball, you're talking about the Sahara. We're about to enter that Sahara where everybody starts eating each other because there's no food anywhere. It's a legit oasis. It's not some sort of mirage. Softball for this program, once you get into the postseason, is legit. People will watch it. They won't do it just because there's nothing on. They care to. It's fun to. A lot of that has to do with it's an hour, 45-minute or 2-hour game, but there is a season now that's carved out. That's a phenomenon that's happened that Lonnie's
in
built
our lifetime,
in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
that's legit.
And the transformation just of that sport has made it to where you find yourself absolutely, kind of lured to the television a little bit. Like, okay, there's a chance I'm going to see a great play. There's a chance I'm going to see somebody do something that I wished I could do. That was not the case years ago. I mean, we would watch softball, say, late 90s, and you're like,
The barehanded throw that Cheryl made last weekend was absurd. She had little to no time. What was it, a dribbler? Like, that's something I'm like, you know what? I'm not sure that I could pull it off. If you give me 10 tries, I don't know that I can make a better throw than that. But the desperation that I have, which I yearn for, because there was the first year that I fell in love with softball, this happened. It was conference championship time in the ACC. So wherever, Durham, as is usual. And then it's in Tallahassee. It's the LSU series where there's the weather delay and they're playing into the night. And it's FSU Clemson on one television and FSU LSU on the other. I want that to be where you're going over to campus for multiple reasons over a 3-week period of time where you've got a regional. So I want baseball to win enough to host a damn regional. Used to be our right, like a birthright here.
Yeah.
Even to get to a super if you make it out. We're just always going to do that. And softball is at that place. I want to be able to be over there, starting to get sick of how hot it is out at campus again because I'm watching so many championship level products being played at the same time.
Well,
that helps you get to football season into camp.
Yeah, the problem, I would argue this, though. I will tell you, we both want the same thing, and anybody who's a Florida State fan wants that as well because it means that our programs are having success. But Florida State baseball, which leads the ACC in strikeouts, both as a pitching staff and as an offensive unit, means that you're watching a whole lot of nothing. And even in victory, that is true. So that sport has taken a colossal kick to the cojones compared to where it was when I broke into this business over 20 years ago. That was, you would not miss a game. The diehard Florida State people, we would sell that place out. It was a must see. It was exciting. And
couldn't get a student ticket in my day.
Right. It was really difficult. That's just not going to be the case. It's just not. I mean, it's just, There's too much swing and miss in the modern game. It's improving in Major League Baseball. I hope the trickle-down effect happens here and in college baseball in general. I think it would help if you had umps that didn't call a pitch 6 inches off the plate a strike.
Yeah, because
but
you'd take fewer pitches.
Yeah. You'd expedite the process here a little bit, and we'd have some action. But yeah, that sport has been hurt while softball has risen up as a entertainment value. And that's because of the athleticism of the ladies playing.
I can tell you what I've seen now. Of course, it's first place baseball, so it's easier to tune back in every night. And it's, it could be temporary. The Mets were in first place for like 112 days last year, but there's only been 2 so far. And I've watched maybe 12 parts of 12 games. There's only been 2 so far that I've seen in Major League Baseball this year that have been like they were when it was bad. Last night was one of those instances, but it's rare to watch a game like you're talking about. Like FSU plays all the time, which is strikeouts to the left, strikeouts to the right. You get a strikeout, you get a strikeout.
Right. Everybody gets a strikeout.
And then here's a walk. All right, you know what? There's action now. There's somebody on base. There's a walk. Is he going to try and steal? There hasn't been a whole lot of that in the Major League Baseball I've been watching. So what you saw at the end of the year, I think, is carrying over for Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Well, I think so. Although there is a real argument right now and some frustration that's developing in baseball, and it's worth watching because it's going to lead to a lot of fights. And contrary to popular opinion, I love it when they fight in baseball. I want to see more fights, not less fights. Let's fight. Let's go. Chris Bassett ripped Major League Baseball to my point yesterday. He's the right-hander for your beloved New York Mets. He expressed frustration and concern for his teammates after they continued to get plunked on the regular. That was a 3-0 win over the Cardinals, whom I know you're happy to beat. The Mets lead.
You're happy we beat them.
Yeah, sure. Anybody in baseball. Beat the Cardinals makes me feel good. Raising the team's Major League leading total to 18. You've had 18 batters get hit already this year. Here's what's different and interesting. Bassett doesn't blame the opposing pitchers in this case like they would have against the Nats, and just understandably so. He says the baseballs are all different. Baseball is weird to me in a lot of ways. I defend the sport when it needs defending. I'll also rip it when it needs to be ripped. And then there's the stuff that's in between. People feel like they have to have an opinion because, otherwise it's boring. Truth is, you don't have to have an opinion about everything. Not everything is worthy of an opinion. Not everything really requires you to kind of dig down deep. It could just be, as the saying goes, what it is. But I do wonder why baseball has a problem getting the baseballs right. What is so hard about having a common thread, which is that the baseball being used in the game between the Cardinals and the Mets is the exact same, texture and otherwise, as the baseball that is being used between the Brewers and the Pirates. But when you get an overwhelming number of pitchers who say that simply isn't the case night to night, I tend to believe them since they're the one fondling the baseballs the most, okay? Quote, it's annoying to see your teammates constantly get hit. And if you get hit by certain pitchers, well, but to get hit in the head, the amount that we're getting hit is unbelievable. I had some close calls tonight, and I've been hit in the face by a line drive, and I don't want to do that to anybody ever. But Major League Baseball has a very big problem with these baseballs. They're bad. Everyone in the league knows it. Every pitcher certainly knows it. They're just bad. Major League Baseball doesn't give a damn about it. They don't care. We've told them our problems, and they don't care. Well, okay, so that's exasperation. He feels like they don't care, but I assure you, Chris, they do care. They do care. That's just a blanket sort of, I'm desperate, I'll just allege that baseball doesn't care. I think baseball cares. The question is, what are they going to do about it, and how do they make it right?
He was asked a follow-up question about should there be a universal substance that a pitcher can use for better grip. And he said, we've suggested it for a million. It's been talked about ad nauseum. And the thing is, what's interesting from his perspective is he's not struggling. If you look at the pitchers who have flourished since the ban, they're checking the belts and stuff last year. He's among the best. Well, he's got a 2.80 ERA since then. So it would be in his best interest to kind of shut up. Well, but he's not doing so.
No, he's looking out for the good of the game and for the contenders, right? The people, getting hit. I mean, that's a problem. But I would say this. A lot of the pitchers that struggled mightily when they put the ban on the substances and it changed the game. There were more balls put in play. There was more action. The things that they needed baseball to have happen did happen last year. And the sport got more interesting. They'll have to sustain that over a long period of time to draw more people back. But what I was going to say was that the guys that struggled turned it around. They figured it out. Garrett Cole had 4 straight starts where he looked like a below average pitcher. By the end of the year, he was the best pitcher in baseball.
Correct, but he's got issues again this year. He's got a 5 ERA since that.
Currently, but you look at what he did his last 10 starts after all of that. He was electrifying still. He just wasn't godlike.
Right, because he was clearly cheating worse than
All of
anybody else in the sport.
Well, I don't know if it's worse. I think he has better stuff. So this is the same thing. Barry Bonds took steroids. He wasn't taking more steroids than anybody else. He's just a better player. So then all of a sudden, you take that level of skill and then you add to it, and his skill level is going to go to here, where if you're marginal and you do it, you're going to go to here. I do think if you're just talking about the baseballs themselves, now that is a problem. Like, you can argue about what substances should and should not be used and all of that. Like, but if the baseballs are fundamentally different, like on a Tuesday than I'm playing with on a Wednesday.
He says inning to inning. That's his
well,
point.
I mean, I'd like to see something done, studied, if that's true. Because if that's true, that is absurd.
They're already more dead. They're already more dead again this year. Last year, apparently, there was a mix. There's a great article. It's really dense, so I'll keep it short. But there's a great article in The Athletic this week about last year's problem. They had baseballs from 2 different seasons in circulation at the same time that were very different in how they were compromised. This year, they're all the 2021 version, which is a deader baseball. So this year, in short, how does it apply to your Braves or your Pirates or Phillies or whoever? If you hit 35 home runs, you're for real this year. About 4 years ago, you need to hit 45 home runs to be for real.
Yeah.
It's only about 35 this year is going to do the trick. The home runs are going to be way down. You're talking about a few percentage points of distance on the same barrel rate, which they can measure now. That's huge. That makes all the difference in the world.
It'll be as if we're watching baseball in 1986, where Darryl Strawberry hits 37 home runs to lead the majors, and you're like, holy moly, that's a lot of home runs. Willie Stargell would have a 30 home run season. I'd be like, look at that masher. Since that time, there have been guys hit 30 in the first half.
Of course, summer's going to help.
Even people like Brady Anderson.
Temperature always helps. But if you hit, 35, 38 home runs this year, you're doing some things.
You're also doing some things to the good. If you call my friends Chad and Shannon, legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans, you can give them a call today to get your home loan, cut through the garbage, cut through the nonsense, call yourself some fellow Noles and get it done. 844-FSU-LOAN, or you can find them online, FSUHomeLoans.com. 5-star mortgage experience. It's a different kind of experience, right? A much more pleasurable experience. These guys will provide that for you. Also partnered with us here on the Jeff Cameron Show. We're thankful for that. It's a good team. Good team. Give them a call today. Let's get that home loan rolling. 844-FSU-LOAN, FSUHomeLoans.com. Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old funny paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like Keith Lawson Services, Tallahassee Automobile Museum, ABC Flooring, or Krispy Kreme Donuts. The country's best donut place has great different monthly specialty donuts like Ghirardelli, Oreo, Chips Ahoy, and too many more to mention. Sign up online at KrispyKreme.com for exclusive email discounts or download the app that lets you pile up rewards every time you order ahead. Krispy Kreme, America's favorite donut.
Hey Tallahassee, it's Sarah with Seminole Auto Glass. You're probably driving right now, which means you're surrounded by glass. Did you know that each piece is made differently? Your windshield is 2 sheets of glass with a thin plastic in between. This allows it to take an impact without going all the way through. Side and back glasses are typically tempered. This strengthening process is what allows them to be shattered in the event of an emergency. Regardless of the glass or how it breaks, we can help. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass, proudly serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. Better call Seminole.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
goodness.
Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Springfest is happening at Lowe's, where you'll find everything you need this season, like premium mulch for our new low price of $2.98 a bag. And the spring savings don't stop there. With select Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables, 4 for $10. Shop Lowe's right now for everything Springfest has to offer. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Bonnie offer in-store only. Plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last. Valid 4/21 to 4/27. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Here, a quick note is it is getting hotter and hotter outside, and soon you're going to be wearing less clothes. We should all celebrate that, unless you're fat. Then you don't want to celebrate wearing less. But you can avoid that fate. Take it on over to Orange Theory Fitness. First class is always free. First month is free with the purchase of a heart rate monitor. Their game was already scientifically backed at Orange Theory, but now new workouts, integrating new and exciting, I might add, ways to stay in shape. So it's always something different at Orange Theory Fitness. You don't get bored. Always something new. It's a good thing. If you don't believe me, don't take my word for it, although you should. Go over there. Like I said, that first class is free. You get in there and find out what they're all about. I think you'll find you'll enjoy the camaraderie and the workout itself and the resulting more life you feel when you walk out of that building. 2 locations in Tallahassee. One of them is Midtown. The other is on the north side over there by Fresh Market. Go check them out. Enjoy it. It's a great workout. Orange Theory Fitness. And you can wear tank tops and stuff. Not that I would.
Did you ever wear a tank top?
The 80s. In the 80s, everybody wore a tank top.
Did you ever wear the wife beater in the late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, but I didn't wear them like as a...
You didn't go out to get happy hour drinks with one on?
No, it wasn't like that. You'd wear them underneath a shirt. Like there was a time where everybody wore an undershirt underneath the shirt. Now, some people still do, but it was a thing where everybody did at all times.
Oh, yeah. My college years were like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, not for me, buddy.
You ready for this hoity-toity? This is the transformation from high school into the future. But I would match up the polo logo with the undershirt. So the polo would be, say, green and white. The white being the polo, and then it's the white undershirt.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's like the modern day effort to match shoes with shirts and hats and belts.
Or like Digger Phelps with the
pin,
yeah,
glow, the highlighter.
The highlighter to match the tie. That was it.
If you're going to have a shtick the way that he had a shtick, then that's not a bad shtick. You know, I've got me a pink bow tie on today. Look at my pink highlighter to go along with my handkerchief. Yeah, that kind of a thing.
Is it handkerchief?
I say handkerchief only to be annoying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like ordinarily.
Well, no, I say ordinarily because it's part of the show lore. We know it's ordinarily.
Ordinarily, I wear a handkerchief.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
I forgot
yeah.
mine today.
No, I did not, Ryan. I was, however, very guilty of rolling my jeans. We did do the rolling of the jeans.
Did you ever wear the Jinko jeans like he was talking about?
What are those? I don't even know what those are.
The massive ones. They're like the cuff is huge. And they would be,
no, I never wore those. Never wore
It'd
those.
be like halfway down your shin. Oh my goodness.
No, somebody sent me a picture I was at an apartment complex off of St. Augustine. This is from 1992. I had never seen this picture. I was at a party there, and I don't know what I was doing. I had the rolled up jeans with a ridiculous belt that I don't know. I guess they were in fashion then, or at least I thought they were, to go in with a tucked in like t-shirt, like a beer shirt. It was ridiculous. Everything about the outfit is awful. And I'm smoking a Camel, standing on a porch, drinking a beer, smoking a Camel with everything about it was awful.
How many years did you smoke cigarettes?
Oh, I didn't. Only when I was drunk.
Oh.
Yeah, I was that annoying guy.
Who bummed one?
Who bummed cigarettes when he was drunk. Yeah. No, it's a crazy thing to have done. No, it's just nuts. Like, I don't know why I did that. But I did.
I'll give you $1.
Oh, no, yeah. And I always liked the real smoker, the guy who actually bought cigarettes, would look at you and be like, you know, give me $1. Go to hell, man. Buy your own pack of cigarettes. Why don't you do that? Because every weekend you're here drinking and borrowing my cigarettes. Just buy me a pack. You know, just do that. Okay. There's no coming back from that if you were that guy. You know, you're like, it's true.
So do you have to wear that like that every once in a while? Somebody check you?
Oh, yeah, good buddies.
Yeah.
I got to where I'd walk through the door and throw it off their face. Shut the hell up.
I believe that.
Yeah.
That's honest. That's an honest moment right there.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was, you know, sort of like, okay, there you go. Get you some of that. And they would laugh. They'd be like, all right. They'd laugh. They know it was a good gesture. Occasionally, if I was really feeling it, say my mom sent me $20 in the mail, I'd be like, here's 2. Look at that. Don't want to hear anything out of you. Yeah. If I say, hey, I want you, shut up and hand me a
Yeah, those are audio tapes that are captured. That's not fictional.
Yeah, did not pop my collar. I
did, only on the course though. To protect the neck.
Yeah. I don't know. Never popped the collar. Maybe in the mid 80s. Oh, I will tell you this. In the mid 80s, I did wear suspenders.
You did?
Well, it was very popular. Ryan will remember this.
Where is that photo?
Oh, I think it's one of my yearbook photos from like 85 or 84 from middle school, maybe. Middle school, Bay Point Middle School. I will find it. I will take a picture. We can post it. It would be funny. It's like 1983, 84. I think I had a pair of blue suspenders to go with a blue and white shirt and it was a Coca-Cola shirt.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah. I might as well have
Was
been
it
a girl.
New Coke?
No, I don't think so.
No.
It was just the old Coca-Cola. Very briefly had a little window of time where they had a run in the clothing arena. People bought Coca-Cola like rugby shirts.
Yeah, soda shirts in general. Like Sprite had them, Mountain Dew.
Oh, I didn't know that Sprite did.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever wear the jackets with the rolled up sleeves?
You mean like members only? London Fog?
No.
You ever have you a London
like
Fog?
Miami
jacket,
Vice.
buddy?
Like Miami Vice.
Oh, absolutely. The real white summertime pink or baby blue. Oh, I was Don Johnson for about 2 years. Long in the back, little party on top. I was doing some things.
Right, the jacket, then you have the button down.
Oh, buddy, I had a baby blue pair of pants that matched the baby blue jacket with the white t-shirt underneath with the white handkerchief to go with the baby blues. And white slip-ons.
Slip-ons?
The little slip-on, the little white slip-ons to go with the white handkerchief and the white undershirt with
like
the baby
boat
blue
shoe
jacket.
style?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. Yeah.
It was tight. It looked good. Loved them.
You've got your outfit for next year's golf tournament.
I actually, of all the things that went away that you think, like, if that came back, that wouldn't be so bad. That South Florida jacket shirt combo wasn't so bad. Had a lot of vibrance, a lot of life to it, and it wasn't hot, and you could look good even in the heat. Most of the time, you're hampered. Like, you can look really good in the north when it's cold because you can wear heavy jackets and look sharp with a vest and so many other things. Now, it's annoying as hell because it takes 15 minutes to go anywhere, and it's awful, but you can look really good. It's hard to look good in the south because it's hot as Hades. So what are you going to do? I can't be putting on 5 different layers of things to look good because it's 97 and humid.
It was co-opted by the hipsters, which is I'm like a collaboration of like 9 different things in terms of style, but I didn't like that it was co-opted by the hipsters. But the vest, I've always thought the vest with the jeans,
great.
oh,
Vest with jeans look
man.
good. What's like your boy on the we know a few things because we've seen many things or whatever that state is it Farmers Insurance or whatever it is. The bald guy that was in the Kick-Ass movie Whiplash.
Yeah.
Yeah, him.
J.K. Simmons.
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, whatever that phrase. He wears the
what
vest.
a character in that movie,
It's
too.
a great movie. But he wears that vest on the regular with the jeans. You're like, that's a good look for you.
It's just in general a good look.
Yeah,
very
typically
classy.
is. Typically a good look. Okay, so somebody asked this question, and again, I get it. You're desperate. You want to know what players could Florida State bring in the transfer portal to improve depth and overall talent on the roster? Well, we don't know. We know position by position. And I would say this. In all seriousness. I thought Ira did a great job of illuminating that on warchant.com. You can go, like, you and I might disagree with the players that we would like to see exit the program and areas of concentration. But when you look at that article, one of the reasons I like it is that you can go position group by position group and not only see the total numbers, but it allows you to kind of vet that group on the whole, got it in, and take a look and say, hey, as a segment group, we might have too many players here. We might have too many guys, none of whom I want to get rid of. And then other groups where like we have too few guys and the few we have suck. So you can, that's the oddity of that exercise when you go through it. You're like, there are more than 7 or 8 reasonably decent players of this segment group. Do we need 7 or 8 of this segment group? Well, if the answer is defensive line, the answer is yes. If the answer is running back, you don't need 7 or 8. You don't need 6 or 7. So like you kind of start looking at that and having the debate. Where I get sad when we do this, when we go through the roster and seek to answer that question for those curious on the chat there, where I get depressed is the numbers aren't bad at wide receiver. The players are. They just haven't, progressed to a place where you feel comfortable. So, like, we were asked, and we've been asked several times over, who would you seek to take it on down the road? Who would you tell them, hey, you need to look elsewhere? If you look at the scholarship count, you look at who we're going to be bringing in, all those things. Well, sometimes you have to say a name where people will recoil a little bit because they'll say, hey, that's a good kid. He's worked hard, and, maybe this is the year. A perfect example, I think, is at wide receiver. You really need Keyshawn Helton? I mean, if we're being honest, can we have that conversation? Does Keyshawn Helton need to be here? He's a redshirt senior. Tom. I think we could tell Keyshawn Helton it's been real.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I might feel that way about too many of those guys in that group, unfortunately. And it's just that does speak to where we're at. It's kind of like.
Yeah, Keyshawn has been pushed so far down because now Pokey's not an outside receiver. I mean, he could line up outside, but he's your second or your third. Pokey Wilson.
Yeah.
Now McLean, actually, he could be your fourth if McLean continues to develop, and I'm not giving up on him just yet.
Malik McLean,
he didn't take a huge leap forward, but he's a solid player. In the
spring, but okay,
I think he's a solid player. So if he's your, let's just say he's your 3 and Pokey's your 4, and you've got Pittman, right? Whenever he comes back, we'll see. But then Johnny, right? You mix all those guys.
What a screwing!
I know.
And I hate it for the kid. He didn't want that. Of
him
course.
More than anybody else,
right? Yeah. But damn it.
But you have that mix between 2 and 4. So let me stop categorizing. And you say Pittman's 1. Winston will put on the shelf for now because we don't know what his status is going to be.
I don't think he's going to play this year.
Then you've got Johnny, McLean, and Pokey in no particular order. No order whatsoever. But that adds up to your 2 and your 3. Where's Helton in that equation? He's not returning punts.
No.
Because that's Pittman's job. He's not returning kicks. He's not fast enough.
But he's a kid and a classic example of somebody that you certainly can't disparage because he's worked incredibly hard to come back, and he's never been a kid that was a problem in the locker room or the segment group. He's always given everything he had.
He was one of the good ones in Willie's locker room, which was a mess.
Yeah, and so he's a guy that you root for, but he's just not. He's part of the problem. He's not good enough, and I like him a lot. And
if he wasn't injured, perhaps his career would be. You know, he was an explosive player. He was trending towards being one of our only explosive players.
Yeah. The thing is, there are kids that you just simply can't run off, even if you wanted to. So if you thought to yourself, well, we've got 11 players on scholarship at wide receiver, that seems like too many, especially since 5 of them really can't play.
I'd even put, as I've said a lot this camp, Kentron ahead of Keyshawn.
Yeah, Portier. Well, especially if Tate Rodemaker's playing quarterback.
Yes.
But what I would tell you is, like, that's a guy that if you ran off, you'd lose some members of this team. You'd lose some guys that you're counting on because they'd be like, you ran him off? No, you don't run him off.
Well,
you put up with that guy, and that guy, but you're going to run him off? Don't do that.
You don't necessarily have to. I mean, you could just tell him, here's the deal. You're not going to play very much, and you've got one more crack at this.
But
do you want to play?
Yeah. Right.
And then wait for the answer.
And if the answer is I do, you're done. You're stuck.
If he says I want to play, then you're saying, well, you're not here. So what's it going to be?
I'll continue to come to work every day and go to class. Okay, well, that's it. That's the end of the discussion. I can't run you off. And you're not saying that to them. I'm just saying this out loud. You can't run those guys off.
No.
That's a good guy. He's done everything right. He's trying his damnedest. He's just not good enough. So you've got to bear with the fact that he's going to be here.
And he'll make a couple of big catches this season. He just won't be somebody that you can count in and week out. And he's not going to be on another website or radio show scouting report. Like, who do we need to key on today?
Right.
It's not going to be Helton.
Like, when you get to a certain place, I mean, I dare say if you're like a redshirt sophomore, so you've been here 3 years, and I don't think I can see you starting at any point in Florida State in your time at Florida State, and you've been here 3 years. Those are the guys that you circle, and you're like, okay, let's see if we can get him on out the door here. Let's see what we can do there. There are eligible candidates in that defensive line room there, and a couple of others where you're like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
You're never going to play.
By the end of spring camp, a lot of it became apparent, and some of those names are already in the portal. Some of them.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
A few more probably this week.
Yeah.
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Leon County Sheriff's Office is investigating a death. Late Tuesday night, a traffic incident involving a pedestrian occurred at Highway 20 and Smitty's Way. The Sheriff's Office added there was a fatality. The roadways were closed in both directions due to the investigation. There are no further details at this time. The Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce is going to be helping students continue to learn during the summer. The Classroom Connection Resource Fund is a tool put together to help kindergarten students stay on track during summer break. Each student will be sent home with a kit including books, flashcards, and worksheets to help them prep for first grade. The money will go towards Bond, Oak Ridge, Pineview, Riley, and Sable Palm Elementary Schools. The Classroom Connection Resource Fund is currently accepting donations. A $300 gift provides an entire classroom with school supplies to combat summer learning loss. Go to the Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce website to register and donate. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs level off around 84 this afternoon under mainly sunny skies, northerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 59 tonight, mainly clear. Lots of sunshine tomorrow, high of 84. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Friday with highs in the low 80s, chance for scattered thunderstorms Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 82.
Spring is literally just around the corner here in Tallahassee, and Southeast Portable Buildings has a great way to make your spring enjoyable. Gazebos, pole barns, all sorts of stuff to get your family outside in the spring and enjoying the great weather that is soon coming our way. Call Southeast Portable Buildings today, 580-6400. That's 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Of 97 patients, 33 are vaccinated, and 63% are considered incidental.
See, this is what I'm upset about. He's basically made up the percentages to look like it's at 100%, but the two are not related to each other.
What's 37% of 97?
It's 35.89.
So why in the hell can't he literally ask iPhone include that in his articles?
Maybe he's got an Android.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Jeff Cameron Show is sponsored by the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans. Great rates, cutting-edge technology, and transparent communication is the recipe for a 5-star mortgage experience at FSUHomeLoans.com.
Local 349. That's where we're gonna mosey on over. Again, not a staff event, not a big paid event or anything like that. It is going to be us hanging out, enjoying some frosty cold ones and great food at Bumpa's Local 349 as always, and a lot of televisions and good company. And so it is that we'll take in the draft tomorrow evening. I'm really looking forward to it. We're looking to see what the Bucks do. Kind of excited to see the top the draft movement that we think is going to happen.
Last year was a good event too. Really enjoyed it because we took over that long table that they have at Bumpa's, and there was just maybe people I know from 4 different walks of life, all that table. That's the cool thing about Tallahassee is, everybody kind of knows each other, and it's strange when you see 2 people from different worlds that you have just kind of talking. You're like, how do you know them? I've known him for 30 years.
Forever.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This town.
North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today at northfloridapayroll.com.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probably?
Boom, 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 boom. All right, Mets Cardinals, they're in the 4th inning where it is tied at 4. Nobody pitching out here today. Carlos Carrasco started for the Mets.
Apparently he did terribly.
And Steven Matz started for the Cardinals.
That's predictable.
Royals, White Sox, 2-0 White Sox in the 3rd. That's a Zach Greinke, Dylan Cease production. Dodgers D-backs set to start in about 40 minutes. Julio Urias and Zach Gallen. Brewers have never lost to the Pirates, not once in their history. Or so it seems to me. Forlorn Pirates fans. Okay, we'll see. Maybe today, guys. Aaron Ashby starts for the Brewers. Dylan Peters for the Pirates. Dylan Peters of the 3-0 0.00 ERA family. Okay. Padres, Reds, Mackenzie Gore, and Vladimir Gutierrez. Mariners, Rays, great series. Fun series to watch. Those 2 good teams. 2 good teams. Marco Gonzalez and Drew Rasmussen. Rockies, Phillies, Ryan Feltner getting his first start on the season. Rangers, Suarez will go for the Phillies. Marlins, Nats, Pablo Lopez, Eric Beatty. By the way, Pablo Lopez is of the 2-0 052 Lopez family.
Okay.
Right. Orioles, Yankees, Tyler Wells, Jordan Montgomery. I would assume a Yankees win, but as we recall, when the Yankees went to Baltimore, they lost the series to the Orioles. Red Sox, Blue Jays, Michael Wacha, Ross Stripling. Cubs, Braves, Mark Leiter Jr., Charlie Morton. Tigers, Twins, Michael Pineda, Joe Ryan. We've got Astros, Rangers, Christian Javier, Glenn Otto. Hey, everybody, welcome to Glenn Otto. I'm Glenn Otto. Guardians, Angels, Zach Plesac, Shohei Ohtani. A's, Giants, Paul Blackburn, and Sam Long. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. You were saying or about to say?
I was going to ask, has Ohtani gotten it together?
Yeah, he pitched well his last outing. Got a win. He's looking more and more like Ohtani. He's 1-2 with a 4.4. So he's starting to come back around, getting it together. Does have like 30 strikeouts or something like that up there.
I was hoping, in this brave new DH world where there already was one in the AL, but you can have the Ohtani rule where you can start the game and just DH the whole way through.
Right.
The rules are built for him now. I don't want him to stink out of nowhere.
No, he's not going to stink. He's been a little unlucky. His whip still sits at 1, which is not bad at all.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's just been a little unlucky. He's going to be all right. His last start, he went 6, gave up no runs and a singular hit. He also struck out 12.
Oh, in 6 innings?
Yeah.
There are 18 outs to get. 12 of them are via the strikeout.
So my man was not great his first 2 starts of the year. And then he said, get you a little something. Get you a little something right here. And so that means, okay, all right, come on. You're going to be all right. I root for that guy. I love him.
Just wish it was on a better franchise.
They've actually got some good young players there. There's no reason they have to suck in perpetuity.
Another owner that's just weird.
He's trying, though. He'll pay for players,
He will.
unlike mine. Good work out of you. Good work, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. You guys have a great evening, and we will talk to you tomorrow on Draft Day.